So like most roguelites and especially deck builders, we're going to go from encounter to encounter, battles, shops, and everything else. So here is our map screen for Monster Train. There's a lot of things you want to keep track of here in your interface. So we'll start at the top left here, and I'm just going to have some graphics show up on the screen to show us what we've got here. So at the top left, we have our pyre health. Our pyre is our train's heart, engine, whatever you want to call it. Starts at 80. It also deals damage to the enemy as well. So keep track of that 45 number right here. That's going to be our damage amount. Up next, we have our gold. This is what we use in shops and anywhere else to get upgrades and more rewards. We have 15 cards in our deck. Monster Train, like any other deck builder, starts you off with a series of cards that you're going to play in order to complete different enemy encounters. One of the unique things about Monster Train is that you have what they call a champion. This is still a card, but it plays once per combat, and this is kind of the leader of one of your clans. Your basic deck is going to start with a few stewards. You have 2 shields and 2 spear stewards. These are going to be the very basic monsters that you have to defend your train. We have a few spells that are going to affect your players, and then we have some damage dealing spells as well. And we top it all off with the champion. Over here on the right, we see another of Monster Train's unique ideas. You build your deck with 2 different clans, and each clan has a unique set of cards. Finally, here you can see the 3 bosses we're going to face on our way as we ascend. We get a little bit of what each boss is going to do for us, or what kind of special ability they're going to have. So as you can see here, this one has spikes, which when it is attacked, it deals 1 damage back per stack of spikes. So that's a way that you can prepare your deck to make sure you have something that can handle being attacked back every time it attacks. Finally, you can upgrade your game speed, and you can look at the full map. So we have, looks like 9 different layers of heaven that we're going to ascend through. Each layer is finished with a battle, and then every couple of battles we have a boss, as we can see here. So gameplay is going to begin by selecting the battle icon on the map and joining in. At the start of every battle, you see a preview of what your enemies are going to do and any bonuses they have. So for instance, we are going to have enemies that heal, and they are going to attack in large bursts. As we can see, the pyre is at the very top of our train. If it takes that 80 damage without being healed, it's game over. The way Monster Train works, at the beginning of every battle, you have what they call a deployment phase. You always draw your champion on your deployment phase, and any card that has the blue banner here, as we can see on those shield stewards. And we have an entire turn basically to set up and get ready to go. Unit cards can be played once every battle, and the way our map works is our train is built in 4 levels where we place our units to defend from attackers who are going to ascend through the train to attack the pyre. So I'm going to place my champion. These two or 3 pips we see here. Each floor has a set amount of space that you can put units on it. As you can see here, right now it's 5. Our champion is going to take up 2 spots, and our shield steward is going to take up the final 3. Each card is going to cost a certain amount of energy called Ember. As we can see down here, we start with 4 Ember in our deployment phase, so we can play all of our cards. Our bottom line is full, so I'm going to go ahead up to floor number 2 and place the second steward. All of my cards have been played, so I can go ahead and begin the fight. The enemies board our train at the lowest level every time, and rather than fighting until death, we each have one turn, and then the enemies ascend. Of course, once they reach the top, they're going to attack the pyre. So like any other deck builder game, we have a certain amount of cards we draw every turn, and we will have 3 Ember that we can play in order to play those cards. Now, as you can see, you can't see any of the details on these cards. On PlayStation here, I can press up on the D-pad, and then that allows me to see this detail for the cards I'm playing. If I want to get rid of that so that I can see what's happening on screen, I just press down on the D-pad. Then of course I can always look through my train to see what's happening. Our enemies, you can highlight them, and we can see this one's going to heal the enemies at the end of combat, so we definitely want to focus that down with our fire starter card. And then our champion is going to deal 4 damage, and it has 45 health. We can see our front steward is going to take 4 damage, attack for 8. Our champion over here has multi-strike. It's going to hit 2 times 2. Now we can play around a little bit with what some of our cards do. So I'm going to apply Valor in advance, which moves that to the front, makes that attack for 4x2, and then I can put my shield steward back in the front, and he's also going to hit more. So at the end of turn, combat happens. We all hit each other. We did not manage to dispatch the enemy, so he moves up a floor with 27 health, and more enemies are going to board the train. So once again, combat happens from top down. The final wave, whether or not this is a boss combat, we'll have a mini boss here. As we can see, anytime we have that relentless ability, that means that he is going to stay on that floor until all of our guys are defeated or until he is defeated. So this is the only time that combat actually keeps going until everyone's defeated on one side or the other. At the end of combat, you get to choose a card from each clan that you are playing as. You can of course skip, and that will give you some extra gold. At the end of every battle, you return to your map phase. You have 1 or 2 options in order to progress. The game is going to show you everything that you're going to be able to interact with in the map if you choose that path. So as you can see, if I choose the left track, I get to add a Pyreborn unit, which is one of my clans, and I get to visit the magic shop, which is going to give my spell cards upgraded, or I can go to the right and gain a banished unit and upgrade my unit cards themselves. One other thing to note, you don't have to do anything in a specific order. I can start in the top or the bottom. Since I'm visiting the merchant here that's going to let me upgrade my units, I'm going to get my unit card first, just in case I want to upgrade that. And we can see both of these have this blue banner, which once again means that they're going to show up in our deployment phase. When you visit the merchant, you get to choose one of 4 options, or of course you can re-roll or remove cards. Once you complete everything on your path, then you have another battle that awaits you. As you can see, since the Steadfast Crusader we added has a blue banner, it now joins our hand in the deployment phase. Another cool thing that you have in Monster Train, since we have multiple units that we're playing with, we can actually apply the equipment card directly onto the unit to give it whatever the card says it's going to have. So this unit will gain revenge, which means that every time it's hit, it's going to add 3 pyre gel to the enemy. And then of course it adds 10 health. One other cool thing with this new card is it has what is called an activated ability. Once we play units with activated ability, for instance this one has Slam, that means that we can play it once every 2 turns, and it's going to deal damage to the front enemy unit equal to this unit's current health and armor. So we can see here everything on our lowest floor was destroyed, which means that floor is now locked and we only have 2 floors left before the boss makes its way up to the top. And we can see that by the end of this round, both of these units will be destroyed. Sometimes your map options are going to have something at the center. As we can see here, the Celestial Alcove. You do get to visit that whether you go towards the left or the right path. As we come into our first boss fight, just want to remind you to write call down in the comments section if you like this kind of video. That'll let me know to make more Monster Train in the future. Our first boss fight is going to draw power from the defeat of his forces, and it's going to become enraged at their failure. So he gains Rage 2 anytime a unit dies on the floor he's on, which Rage is going to give him +2 damage per every stack. So the way bosses work is that the boss is there for the entire fight. He can move up and down freely throughout the train, but you can attack him if there are no enemies on the same floor as he is. So as we see here, the boss is on floor 2, which means that both of our units that are on floor 2 are going to attack it this turn. So our room cards are going to be installed onto a floor of the train. You can only have one room effect on a floor at a time. So this is going to be like a power card if we were playing Slay Spire or something similar. So our room says that whenever a unit dies on this floor, we gain 1 ember. I don't know if that stays or if it comes later on. But after you defeat a boss, you get a rare card. Then you get to choose an enhancement to your train as well. Enhancements could be things like we see here. You get additional embers, you get additional draw each turn, or you get additional capacity on each floor, and then your pirate gets bonus health and bonus damage. That's going to be the essentials of Monster Train for the very basic beginners. As you can see, every level gets a little bit more and more complex until we get all the way to the end. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below what you think of the game, and we'll make more Monster Train content soon. Thanks.